Fighter, 5 Keys to Conquering Fear and Reaching Your Dreams by Chris Greenwood, narrated by Chris Greenwood. Introduction. A father is lost, a fighter is born. I was born on July 19th, 1979 at Centenary Hospital in Scarborough, Ontario, Canada. I grew up in a small city outside of Toronto called Pickering, an underdeveloped area with lots of farmland. I played in those big dirty hills surrounded by the bleached skeletons of framed houses going up and construction crews all around digging holes and drilling. I watched the city transform. I remember finding a lot of new streets when I was a kid. My mother's parents immigrated from England, arriving in Quebec City on May 2nd, 1931 on the White Star Line. My mother said the name of the ship was the Laurentic, a British ocean liner that served the Liverpool-Quebec City route in the early 1900s. I'm an English boy, the youngest in my family with one sister, Virginia, who is 4 years older than me. We lived on a street called Malden Crescent in a 4-bedroom house with a balcony attached so you could walk out at night and look at the stars. There was a lot of anger and resentment in the house during my childhood, but despite that, my childhood wasn't abnormal. We were spoiled rotten and my sister and I fought like cats and dogs, but we had some good moments too. I remember peaceful nights of just sitting on the balcony with my mom, gazing at the stars and wishing for things. I remember riding my bike around the streets, playing hide and seek with my friends for fun, and walking home from school with icicles growing from my nose and snowstorms so thick you could barely see the streets in front of you. I'd push open the front door to be greeted by a steaming bowl of tomato soup, a plate of macaroni and cheese, and an episode of Spider-Man. I was a typical young boy. On a Saturday morning, you would find me cuddled up on the couch with my favorite blanket and a bowl of Fruit Loops in my lap watching cartoons. The only problem was that I didn't know God's love back then. There was too much darkness. Does it really do much good to light one tiny candle in all this darkness? Yes, there is always hope. O.G. Mandino. The Dark Cloud. It was a spring afternoon when a dark cloud descended on my house and brought ambulances, fire trucks, and police cars blazing up my street. I was too young to understand what was going on, and I can barely remember what happened because my mother did such a good job of shielding me. My sister led me to McDonald's while the police were at the house to shelter me from the storm. I don't know how I found out. Maybe it was my mom, I don't know, but someone must have sat me down to explain why my dad was gone and would never return. When you're 5 years old, I'm not sure if I would have understood what suicide was anyway. That day, my dad took and drank some pills and went down to the basement and hung himself. He was 38. My mother discovered his body hanging there and raced up the stairs, beating the steps with her clenched fist, asking God why. This was his 3rd suicide attempt and it was successful. My mom had caught him once trying to slit.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?